Hello and welcome to all you Sagittarians. Welcome to your monthly horoscope for September 2013. It's a key month. Again, I know I keep on repeating myself, but it is a very key month because something a constellation is happening that is very rare and that is going to be important for even up until the end of this year. So I have made a separate video about that, about the constellation of Venus, Saturn, the North Node, all conjuncting in the same sign in Scorpio at 8 degrees. And this is really important. It's during the middle of September, around the 18th, 19th, but it will have an impact on the whole month. And there is even at the end of the year in November, on the 3rd, there is an eclipse on that particular point. So therefore it is really meaningful. I'm going to explain why it is meaningful for a Sagittarian and of course some other stuff going on during that particular month. Now, so if you want to know more about it, in particular about that constellation in Scorpio, just click on the link below and you will see all that information. Now, first of all, this is happening in your 12th house. This is a Venus-Saturn conjunction, and actually Saturn in the 12th house is not so bad. On the contrary, Saturn in traditional astrology is said as having its joy in the 12th house. And why is that? Because the 12th house is a very boundarylessness house, without no boundaries, trying to open up things, trying to see what you can't see in reality but is there. And Saturn structures that. Saturn makes sure that it manifests and that things do have definition. So those two is a really interesting combination. And you're having that for quite a while, and that will go on for quite a while, this Saturn in your 12th house, but now it's going to conjunct with Venus in Scorpio. So for all of us, it's such a wake-up call, it's such a call for truthfulness, it's such a call for going for your true values, because Venus is all about our value system. It's all about what we think is important in our life. It's about what we love. And for you, the Sagittarians, they are going to do a lot to, how would you say, to get the things that are not working anymore, that are superficial, that are not real. They are going to make sure that they come to the realness of life and they come to the real things that they like about life. So Venus is really about what we long for. And in some cases, it could mean that in the 12th house, it could mean that you long in how do you say that, in separation. So you have your values or you have the things that you love, but you can't, for whatever reason, you can't really show it into the open. And Saturn is there, which is really good because it's structuring that. It's making it very truthful, and it's making it defining itself why that is the case. So for many people it could be that they need a lot of time alone, and for Sagittarians normally it's an extrovert sign, but it could mean that September is more introvert month, so that you really are enjoying yourself just by being with yourself. That's one thing. Secondly, it can mean that in some cases, because Venus in the 12th in Scorpio can mean hidden relationships, so or hidden feelings that you can have an eye on someone, and it can mean that things can't happen because you are together with someone else or they are together with someone else, and you understand that and you give it its form. And you are letting that go, because the 12th house is about letting go and giving sacrifices, in fact. But with the North Node there, So it's also conjuncting the North Node, which is our path and which is our destiny. It really needs to be that way. So it could be for some of you also that. For others, it could have to do with, especially for the ones who need their creativity in their work, who need to be creative, who need to be inspired for their work on a daily basis. And it's not always easy to be inspired when you're having a creative job. For those of you who have creative jobs, it's a really good time, because this Venus and Saturn, it's all about structuring and getting real with the imagination. So I think for those people, they will really have a very inspirational month, and you can get the best out of that, because you can become very productive when you are someone who's an artist, or even in a company you work and you need to be very creative. This can be a very good time for you to establish that. So what else? So all in all, a very interesting position to have in that 12th house, in that hidden house, in that house, what happens a lot on the inside, and where things need to let go, need to go with the flow, and need to let the things be as they are, but with the working hard. So it seems very paradoxical, this Venus Saturn in the 12th, but that's just the way it is for you Sagittarians at the moment. But there are other things happening in September. There is this new moon, this new beginning, always with a new moon on the 5th in Virgo, and that is your midheaven. That's the highest point of your chart. So around about that time, it's a good thing to start something new when it considers work, or whether it considers your path in life that you want to follow, because it's around 13 degrees of Virgo, in the middle of Virgo. So if you've got planets around 10 to 15 degrees of Sagittarius, you will feel that the most. A new start and a new beginning when it comes to work, and when it comes to contacts with social life, actually. And you will also have a full moon in the opposite house, in Pisces, on 26 degrees on the 19th, which shows also culmination, a fulfilling of something that happens in your home life around the very end, or around the 19th of the month, which is very connected with that Saturn and Venus and North Node that I talked about. So I think with that hard work that we all need to do with Venus Saturn conjunct North Node, it's Scorpio is about deepness, it's about no superficiality, as I said, it's about digging very deep. And with you doing that in that 12th house, you can accomplish something in your 4th house, which is you at the deepest level, or which is literally your house. So something can come to a fruition, to a culmination, to maybe even getting a bit emotional at home. But it is a good thing. It is a good thing to show your emotions at home and to be very open to that. So the sun will be shining in your 10th house, and the moon will be in your 4th house. So definitely also an important month for anything that has to do with career path. So with changing it, or with redefining it, or doing something different. Then your ruler, by the way, which is Jupiter, is going to square up to Mercury around the 20th. So around that time, it can mean that, and Jupiter so your ruler is in the 8th house for a long time. So again, that is a water house. So there's a lot of you Sagittarians who are doing a lot of inner work, who are maybe used to be very extrovert and still are going to be an extrovert, but also a lot happening on the inside of you, and having your ruler there means that you really find it's interesting to be doing stuff that has to do with the 8th house, that has to do with you mastering fears in general, and you gaining self-worth through the word of other people giving it to you. So be open for that as well, because other people, it might be the case that other people are going to be more open and into their saying to you that they value you. And that's a nice thing, isn't it? With Mercury squaring up to you, Jupiter, it can mean that you are going to have an idea around the end of the month, around the 20th actually, that you are going to have a specific idea of something that has to do with you, that has to do maybe with the other person who is close to you. If you are single, it could be the case that you are going to have a discussion with someone and it will force you into new things. So, all in all, a month that is really happening a lot, that is really very interesting for Sagittarians on practically all levels. Because we often think the 12th house, it's not such an important house, but it is, because it's that last house before the first house. So you are preparing yourself, you Sagittarians, in order for 2015 to become that new person, to have Saturn in your sign, which will all be about, you know, a new cycle. So you are doing a lot of stuff doing on the inside, and that is really good for you. Another thing, which is sometimes the 12th house, is it in Vedic astrology? I don't know much about Vedic astrology, but sometimes the 12th house is associated with long distance traveling. So it's a good time for you. It's always a good time for you to travel because you're a Sagittarian. But it's a good time for you to go to exotic countries. And I'm showing you this stone. This comes from an exotic country. And it is called jade or jade, I guess. It's a green stone. It's very cold. It's very good for summertime because it's always cold and fresh. And I looked it up, what it means. And because I associate this stone with Venus and the Saturn that is going on in your 12th house. And it is all about truthfulness, it's all about balance, and it's all about the things that you want to be real and work hard for. So get in touch with you Sagittarians and have a lovely month. Thank you for listening. Bye bye.